In this fourth video, I would like to talk about David McClelland's theories and their application to organizational diagnosis. McClelland, in the early part of his life, talked about achievement motivation. Achievement motivation is a desire on the part of an individual to excel, to set standards, to be involved in achieving something which is unique, something distinguished, something different, and a concern for excellence. He contrasted this with affiliation motivation, where the individuals are interested in relating with people, maintaining relationships, establishing relationships, restoring relationships, and so on. And in the power motivation, the individual is interested in influencing, dominating, controlling other behavior, other person's behavior. He or she wants to take charge of the situation where the person could dominate and influence other people. McClelland distinguished between personal power and social power. So power applied for personal aggrandizement he called as personal power, which makes you a little more autocratic, dominant, aggressive, and things like that. Whereas the power applied for larger social goals, institutional goals, is social power or institutional power. So power again has two dimensions, social power and personal power. So essentially during his lifetime, David McClelland worked on these four motives. Achievement motivation is good for entrepreneurship, but social power is good for institution building. So a good dose of achievement motivation with a moderate or low affiliation and a high degree of socialized power is likely to help you to build institutions. A parallel concept to this was brought by Uday Parikh in India, where he talked of extension motivation. Extension motivation is your interest or desire to apply yourself for larger social goals, for the benefit of a community, for the society, for the organization where you work, and so on. Now, McClelland's theories in the later part of his life influenced quite a bit in terms of organization to analyze themselves and strive for moving from organizations to institutions. In fact, he created a concept of institutional manager, by which he meant that managers who strive to achieve larger social and organizational goals by showing certain amount of achievement motivation and concern for superordinate goals of an organization and so on. Now, how do you use McClelland's motivational theories for making organizations and diagnosing organizations? In fact, to this list of four motives, I would like to add a motivation for dependence, a need for dependence, and also a need for independence. I would like to call the need for personal power as control. So we now have 6 motives: need for achievement, need for affiliation, need for control, need for social power or influence, I want to call it need for influencing for larger causes, need for dependence, and need for independence. I think if these 6 motivational patterns, we have tools to measure these motivational patterns. If these 6 motivational patterns can be measured for individuals, and the right kind of a culture can be developed in organizations that promote institutionalization. Now, what do I mean by right kind of a culture? Organizations should be achievement driven, largely. In India, I would say, I think you need to be, or you could be, moderately affiliation driven. You can't say affiliation motivation is bad, because in India, I think we largely work with affection, with warmth and things like that. So I would say moderate degree of affiliation with a less degree of control and high degree of influence, and a moderate to high degree of independence and less degree of dependence. Dependence and control are not very positive kind of things, are likely to be restraining forces in exploiting the human talent. Therefore, a good profile of an organization is highly achievement driven and highly influencing, within as well as outside the organization, and reasonably independent, with less control, less dependence, and moderate kind of an affiliation. Well, you can debate this combination, you can come up with your own kind of combinations and so on. The implication for diagnosis is you can develop an organizational climate questionnaire to measure, like in the case of Murray's terms, the press, the extent to which the organization encourages or reflects achievement, dependence, independence, control, influence, and affiliation and things like that, and measure the personality of the organization using these tools. So when you develop these and when you present, when you survey the way the people perceive the organization in terms of these 6 motives, and also the way people desire or the way that people can be characterized by these 6 motives, you can come up with a need-press congruence kind of a thing, and you can evolve strategies and mechanisms to maximize the congruence between what people want and what kind of organization you want to build. In case you want to build an organization with a different profile, you can set that as an objective, and then you can help top management and other people to work for achieving that particular kind of a goal. So that is the way McClelland's power, achievement, affiliation and their combinations can be used to manage organizational growth.